why cut museums? Why cut museums? Well, in many ways, as I've said, it's a kind of very black and white issue. You cannot cut statutory services, although just yesterday on the news, the leader of the Local Government Association in the UK, I think, was saying that actually statutory cuts are coming. So, do you cut the swimming pool? Or do you cut the museum? In one way, it comes down to those kinds of choices. But in fact, the Welsh Local Government Association is very clear that culture is extremely important to what local governments do. They argue that councils play an integral role in promoting healthy lives across communities and providing access for all to services which can improve health and well-being significantly. Sport, leisure, libraries, museums and parks, promoting cultural activities, and that these services form the fabric of communities, and that without them, in a way, the social contract or and that the cultural and social benefits of these services do encourage people to come into town centres, they encourage people to congregate, they encourage people to visit other towns which have museums which are open, and can very often become part of the tourist offer in their own right, helping to grow more inclusive local economies. And yet the expert review, again, that I was talking about, referred to how the implications of all the cuts over the years in the staffing of local museums has meant that we no longer have museum focused, well, with the new structures of local government and the loss of this sort of committee structure, you no longer have committees that are specifically looking at leisure, culture and museum sector. And in terms of the staffing, the local museums officer is likely to be at a fairly junior level in terms of remuneration and status, and so the museum voice within councils is quite invisible to the top layers and can be quite far removed from the key decision makers. But in fact, the same review found that when it looked at these local authorities that have cut back on or closed museums, hiving them off to trusts, or even closed them altogether, that this actually only delivers very small savings. The museum's budget for local authorities is only ever are going to be a marginal cost, just 3% of their total culture, heritage and sport expenditure, which in itself is only about 10% of the entire budget. And so museums are only about 1.3% of the total council expenditure. And often the savings made to council tax bills if you close a museum amount to not more than a few pounds per household per year. And often if you do close a museum and you've had an HLF grant, you have to repay that grant. Often, as has happened with the Uni Arts Centre, for example, the local authority has continued in some way to support the building, so that's also the case in other trust-run museums, so costs are still incurred. So the question is, how much money is actually saved? In the last few minutes, I just want to come on to tell you a little bit about the Cullen Valley Museum, which is on my doorstep, and it closed in 2014, as I said, when Rother Cannon Taff introduced its first phase of its spending cuts. There was a big campaign to save it. A local group was set up. They managed to persuade the council that they could get together a business plan in order to try and see if they could run the museum on an independent basis. And the council agreed to that In order to maintain the museum accreditation, they ran open days, regular open days once a month, because the museum's got to be open to the public in order to keep its accreditation. And eventually reopened in 2016, the Cunnan Valley Museum Trust. And has been able to benefit from the fact that there's a massive wind farm on the mountain between the Rhondda and the Cunnan Valleys, which has been very controversial, and in fact there was a huge campaign against that, interestingly. But that went ahead, and the wind farm had to set up a community fund, which has got a great deal of money in it. And the Cunnan Valley Museum was able to apply to that fund and has now managed to employ, it's got a museums manager, a very dynamic person. It's got a community development officer and a fundraising post, if I remember rightly. And is managing, but it's a struggle, it's a constant struggle, because those posts are actually most of the time given over to operational day-to-day issues, and it's very difficult for the staff to do the kind of community-focused outreach work that they know that they really, really want to do. And when I was speaking to Charlotte Morgan, who is the museums manager there, just last week, she was saying that she felt that in the wake of Brexit, or at least in the wake of the referendum result, she really worries that they're not able to do enough in terms of actually getting out into local communities and being able to talk to people, being able to find out what is at the root of people's concerns, what is at the root of people's worries about the future. And she said to me that she feels that local communities up and down the Cunnan Valley are splintered and quite fragmented. And I met her in a local cafe in Aberdare, and which was full. And she was saying how fantastic it would be for her to be able to just send the community development officer regularly, as she used to do back in a previous era, in a different job in the Midlands, sit in the cafe and just talk to people and find out what it is that they want to see in terms of the past being represented, what is the role of their own past, what can we think about connecting that up with the future. And she feels as though she knows that the people who are working within the museum are in a bit of a bubble of their own. They're very, on the whole, anti-leave. They are Remainers. They want to embrace the ideals of diversity and an open society, and they feel that, she feels at least, that in the local areas the views of people are very different to that. So how does a local museum start to reach out and start to get outside of that bubble and wade into this murky territory of the whole can of worms that Brexit has released? So that's the experience of the Cunnan Valley Museum. Let's have a bit of hope. The Federation of Welsh Museums and Galleries recently had a piece in the Museums Association website about museums being resilient in the face of Brexit, and Storiel in Bangor might be seen as a more optimistic kind of scenario, where the older Gwynedd Museum and Art Gallery lost half of its funding and had to close, and now it reopened in a partnership with Bangor University and the Gwynedd County Council, and seems to have gone from strength to strength. So the principal museums and art officer there says that Places need to look at what they're doing, why they're doing it, and move forward. Be clear on what the vision is. You've got to be the eyes and ears. You've got to be out looking for projects and be very, very proactive. And that was what she was saying in relation to trying to square this very, very difficult circle of how you try and survive within the context of austerity, but at the same time redouble your efforts to be incredibly community focused and able to be a proactive, provide a proactive service. And just put this up here because I think this again is from the expert review. I think it just shows one of the problems that Wales is facing in particular as we go into whatever's going to happen after March the 29th. It was just showing how other small countries and autonomous areas within the EU have much more infrastructure around their museum service than Wales does. I find it quite interesting because if you look along Wales road, there's only a couple of boxes ticked in terms of museums having a legislative framework, a state-managed museum system. Of course, we've got an accreditation scheme, but having a committee that represents them at state level, having revenue funding from the state, as well as being reliable. And Wales has very little of those compared to other comparable countries. So I think that is a problem. So to conclude, I think I am saying that obviously, although Brexit is going to make an already difficult situation worse, I think this underlying neoliberal project of destroying the idea of the free public cultural realm is the more long-term and more deeply rooted challenge underneath it all. And that although we do have in Wales a stronger commitment politically to the public realm, public politics, it's difficult to see how culture and museums is going to make the calls on the public purse that's needed to sustain the sector and to step up to those challenges and those requirements of the future generations and well-being hands. So it'll be very difficult. And just going back to that previous slide, perhaps some of the answers got to be found in creating a more robust legislative, regulatory and governance structure for museums that will actually protect them and put them at the heart of an ongoing commitment to cultural provision. A question for everybody: how can museums play the vital role that they need to play in fostering community cohesion and regenerating that sense of a vibrant public sphere in local areas? And how can overstretched resources best be deployed to do this, given the scenarios of ever dwindling funding that I've outlined?